Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickinson from Dubbo Regional Council.
You are listening to 2BS 95.1 FM, 11 minutes away from the news at 8 o'clock. And joining us right now, the Mayor of Dubbo, Matthew Dickinson. Good morning and Happy New Year.
Yeah, thanks, Dusty. Same to you. It seems like 2024, we're into it already. Second day and it's off and running.
Absolutely right. Back at it again. So tell us, Mayor Dickinson, what are some of your priorities for 2024?
We've got a couple of different things to focus on in 2024. We've got a big year for sporting events. Bowls New South Wales are taking their state championships to a regional area for the first time ever. So there's a lot of pressure on Dubbo to host those championships and do a fantastic job of that. I think we will do that. We've got a contract for 3 events. So this year it goes back to Metro next year, and then we'll have it again in 2026 and then 2028. That's a big event for Dubbo. We've also got the New South Wales Touch Junior State Cup for the Northern Conference again. We got that as a bit of a one-off last year because of some flooding that was happening in the area that it was normally meant to go to, and then we put the contract in for that, so we've got that for the next 3 years as well. That'll happen at the end of February, and we're expecting probably about 7,000 visitors for that event. So a couple of huge sporting events, as well as lots of other regular sporting events. We've got cricket championships that are happening right now as we speak, athletics, swimming, there's a whole range of other events. So those sporting events and those sporting conferences, if you like, bring lots of good people coming through our community and lots of money coming through as well. The other part that's a really big focus for us is infrastructure. We've had some infrastructure projects that have been bubbling away, working towards getting there, and we're going to complete some of those projects. So, for example, we've got our legacy shared pathway along behind the CBD along the river. That should be finished by March this year. We've got an event precinct that will be finished by the end of the year. We've also got our Heritage Plaza area that's going to be finished out the front of Old Dubbo Jail. And the other one that I'm very excited about won't be finished this year, but hopefully we'll be turning a sod on that this year, and that's the Redry Cultural Tourism Centre. Getting the funding right for that, that's about a $14.4 million project. We had to get the funding right for that first. We think we've got the funding right for that now. We're just waiting for a final application to be successful, hopefully with government, and we'll be able to turn a sod on that. So some pretty big infrastructure projects, some sporting projects, and of course this year for councils around the state, Dusty, is an election year, 14th of September this year. That makes a bit of a difference in the attitude for some councils across the state.
I suppose that is a big part of some of the priorities that you're trying to get through before the election towards the end of the year.
Well, one of the things that's really tricky, and I've been involved in council before, both in our council and looking around the state in election year, and you kind of get 2 different angles from councillors. Some councillors who are retiring, not going to stand again, they kind of get a bit to the stage where a bit over council and they're happy for it to finish because they're basically worn out. They're tired and they're worn out, and so they want to see some of those projects ticked off. You've got other councillors who are going to stand again who really want to get in and keep things ticking away. So it's not so important they're ticked off before the election because you want things to keep going after the election. So you've really got to try and focus on business as usual. You've got to almost block that election out of your mind and make sure you're still doing the right thing by the community, because the world doesn't stop on the 14th of September. It continues on after that. Whether you're a part of it after that is a different thing, but you still want things to be continuing on for the big picture.
Absolutely. And of course, the Australia Day ambassadors have been announced for Dubbo and Wellington.
They have been, and we have actually a little bit of a difference for our Australia Day this year. The same as we did last year. We've got the Wellington event as a twilight event, so that'll start at 6:30 p.m. on the 25th of January. Reece Muldoon is the ambassador that we've got for that, which is very exciting for a lot of people. I've had a few people comment to me already about that. He's probably most recently known for his role in House Husbands, but he's got a long-term fan base because he was involved in shows many years ago like McLeod's Daughters and Blue Healers, so you'll get some people that have been familiar with Reece's work from a long period of time. And in Dubbo, Dubbo's event is on the morning, early morning, 8 a.m. We start that on the 26th of January, and we've got Sam Cawthorne, who's ambassador there. He's a speaker coach, but particularly works with young speakers. He was the 2015 Young Australian of the Year, so he's got very much a focus on promoting and keeping young people out there in the I suppose, public face from a speaking perspective. So that'll be interesting to hear what Sam's got to talk about as well. If you're a speaker coach, there's a fair bit of pressure on when you stand up to speak to a crowd, so I'm sure he'll do a great job there.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for your time this morning, Mayor Dickinson.
Always my pleasure, Dusty. Have a good year.
Same to you. There we go. The Mayor of Dubbo, Matthew Dickinson. You are listening to 2BS Breakfast. Dusty Fitzpatrick with you, filling in for Pecky.
Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickinson from Dubbo Regional Council.